Actually, you do need the crusader. Someone who goes out there and has to defend it and face evil one-on-one. And that's pretty much what Rocky is. And the entire Rocky series has never been about staunch reality like Raging Bull or other boxing films. It's more of a metaphor about life. And then in the end of Rocky, this last one, Rocky Balboa, he basically has come full circle, and he just, at the very end, just disappears, and the entire journey is over.
Well, as far as the journey, I understand you personally have had an extraordinary spiritual reawakening. You want to tell us about it?
Well, it is. You know, there was a time in there where I was very strict Catholic, and then when I got to Hollywood, and all of a sudden you're given the key to the candy stores, and temptation abounds, and I started to believe my own publicity. And no question, I admit it, I just lost my way. But every time I came back to Rocky, I was given a new shot in the arm, a new reawakening, and then I would abuse it again. And finally, it led to about 12 years of I just was spiraling down, and finally I said, I got to stop. I have to get back to basics. And I really decided to take things out of my own hands and put it in God's hands, because I always felt I was chosen to do something. I was never a writer. I was never an exemplary student. All of a sudden, one day, I started writing Rocky. I wrote it in 3 days, and it wins the Oscar. And I cannot assume that I did this all on my own. I really do not believe that for a second. And I feel the same thing with the last film, that there was a calling. I wanted to do it. And for some reason, I think, Pat, right now, it's a perfect message for what's going on, right? The world's in upheaval. We don't have certain individuals we can look up to. And Rocky's a humble man who really believes in sacrificing himself for the good of others.
Well, I know people will want to watch it. It opens tomorrow in theaters all across America. Have you got good distribution for it?
Oh, it's been fantastic. I mean, so far, when I announced this, I was the laughingstock of the country. But I said, you don't understand. It's really dealing with some deep core values. Now, things are just happening. We're on the cover. Today, I just found out we're on the cover of USA Today. It's like a miracle. It's like going back to the first one. I really believe life does repeat itself, and I have to give my complete thanks to all those that have supported me, and by the grace of God, I'm here again.
Well, it's going to be exciting. I look forward to seeing it. I haven't seen it yet, but I look forward to seeing it, and we urge our viewers to join in with you. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much. God bless.
It's inspiring. God bless you.
I've made women of the highest value question their worth. I spent years talking bad about my dad and my poems, only to grow up and realize that I'm a lot more like him than I cared to admit. I'm confusing. Kind of like a black Rubik's Cube. A walking storefront display with pretty good presentation. I've spent my late nights carving my name into the warmth of women's hearts, only to leave them standing outside in the cold, tapping on a glass window that guards mine as soon as I'm ready to open, but I never will. Instead, I'll continue to get by on my packaging while breaking them down, just so I never have to deal with the fragile pieces inside of me that have been broken. I've had a woman while having women. Like to consider myself a man of fashion, but honestly, I couldn't tell you the brand of a woman's pants unless you showed me the interior of her denim, and I wake up every morning, look myself in the mirror and say, I'm not like the rest of the men because I don't use my poetry to get them. But the truth is, you won't fall in love with me. You'll fall in love with my image. I am the best magic trick you have ever seen. A puppet master to a woman's emotions. I hate being judged, have a hard time receiving love, and I'm still working on finding me. I spent countless years with women, convincing them they were the one, only to abruptly leave them, finally find the woman of my dreams, wake up every morning, look at my ring, and because of my guilt, I can't help but feel like God is teasing me. Because it's hard to believe after all the lying and cheating I've done, he put one on this earth who still actually believes in me. Hi, my name is Prentice Powell, and this isn't a poem. I'm just working on being honest.
Everybody smiles when they see her walk by. She can't seem to walk the streets without compliments from guys, even women, just to express their mind. Pretty girl would go back if she could into time. She would climb into the womb of the woman who created this disaster. Pretty girl would run away if her legs moved any faster. They don't know the pain of a pretty girl's reign. Pretty girls like her never can be hurt. But if she could, she'd bury her look 6 feet in the dirt. Cover it up with plaster still and execute the memories they all had of her. Then She come back into this world and give the world her answer, because pretty girl has words that no one wants to hear. So if a pretty girl removed her looks, more people would appear. And hear the line she's been yearning to say: pretty girl's over with the ruling of this game. See her choices to be all that she can be, followed by a God-given gift that she never wanted to receive. She's judged off the way her body is framed, portrayed as a stuck-up girl, and they don't even know her name.
Portrayed as a stuck-up girl, and they don't even know her name.
The people look at pretty girl and say, isn't it nice? Leaving unforgettable impressions and having them look back twice. But pretty girl doesn't crave the attention like they think. Pretty girl lives off her looks, and compliments is what they think. See, she wishes that their ears were in control of their eyes. Finding ways to listen to her was harder than goodbyes. Pretty girl hurts and wishes it all away. She always would imagine if things happen to change. They just want a piece because she's a pretty girl. Pretty girl has no emotion. She can't be a normal girl. She's left open, and they continue to bypass her until one sees past the looks and prefers to hear the words. She's been crying out into the mirror to please remove this curse. Pretty girl, don't hurt yourself. It would only get worse. They'll say, that girl is crazy, but still call her pretty. She seeks the easiest option and does without pity. And no longer will she suffer. She'll begin another chapter, except this time it's her choice. Pretty girl hears a voice to end it all while she can, following it out, and all they could say was, well, damn. She was so pretty. I just don't understand. Never did they decide to ask what she was really feeling. Covering up her emotions and smiling was her way of healing. Pretty girl, release yourself and no longer be defined as one. The era of her pretty days are finally done.
A word of hope, a word of meaning, a word of joy, life, a word to prosper, a word to dread, a word to die, life, a word of new comings, a word of trials, a word of God, life. How you look at it every day is what you are, life.
Speak, Lord, I am listening. For so long I've wanted to say my own things, journals of agendas, prose of my own possibilities. For so long I've wanted my words to promote the things that I love the most, and my treasure chest have become storage closets of trophies of me, collecting my accomplishments, brushing the dust on top of them, placing them on my front room shelves for everyone to see. And when I was on the stage, I did the same thing, saying the statements I knew would be impressive, speaking in rhythms that were faster than flash, though no one could understand them, pushing my plans, my ideas, my calendars of what I thought you wanted, or at least I hope that even if you didn't, I could get away with it. And for too long, I lived like this. Speak, Lord, I am listening, 'cause now I see that when you weren't my definition, my words meant nothing. Now I see that if your spirit doesn't fill our words, we're giving vessels to a thirsty world that look beautiful but are empty. Now I see that when I was without you, it wasn't pretty. I remember the sin you saved me from, the pits of hell you pulled me from, and I have not come this far just to let pride take over me. I rebuke my need to be an exhibition. May my only ambition be like you, and thus experience life the way you created me to, in an image less like me, in a portrait more like you. May this horizontal stage never be a vertical barricade. May nothing in this world separate from the joy of knowing you. I turn down the chaos of my life to stop and to listen, to return to my first love, to hear the truth in your language. Only you can breathe new life into these dead pages. You speak, I'll type. How can my days tell your story? You speak, I'll repeat. May my words expose your glory. Speak, Lord, I am listening. I turn down my own volume. I turn up your praise. May I be the microphone amplifying your words of grace. May the words of my mouth and the meditation
You know, there's 768 million people without clean water in the world today, 25 million people in Africa losing their lives to AIDS, and 1 in 6 children going hungry every day. When I hear those stats, I think, is anything we're doing actually working? And I mean, if it is working, how can we be certain? I might as well not even try to help because, well, I'm just one person. But see, that despair could be solved with a little dose of perspective, a story that tells the truth and not just the wreckage, because the truth is, according to stats, darkness is losing. I repeat, darkness is losing. Okay, you don't believe me. Did you know since 2000 there are 8 million more AIDS patients getting antiviral drugs? Every year, more than 2.5 million less children graves are being dug. Let that sink in. That's 7,256 more children that are living every day. See, progress is being made because justice, it isn't a gavel and a black robe. It's setting the world to rights. It's fixing what's broken. It's crushing strife. It's restoring genuine humanness and being an ambassador of light, because church, God was willing to die to set this world right. So let that be our cry and why we give our life. But first, justice also isn't a lot of things. Justice isn't doing good things simply because they benefit you. It's not using good causes to build your platform too. In fact, it's not sexy, it's messy, and it's not arbitrary kindness, but standing firm for what's true. I mean, who cares about how much we sing about justice at our shows? Here's the real question. When's the last time we had a non-Christian in our home? So real quick, let me tell you what justice is. Justice is throwing the lasso around heaven and pulling it down to earth. It's loving your neighbor no matter how much it hurts. It's where we got sit-ins, women saying, I don't belong in the kitchen, pushback of hypocritical religion, and Christians saying we'll die for these causes if that's the only way you'll listen. See, justice is the church's mission. It's looking at the Prince of Darkness and saying, you're riding a sinking ship because our King is risen. See, the whole point of this poem is to be encouraged that darkness is losing. Jesus is moving. Thanks to you all and the work you've been doing, lives are being changed. People are getting clean water. Peace is being restored and people are getting cured. So my plea is, don't give up. Don't let up. Let's stop thinking what we've done is enough, because new creation is here, yes, and the sun is in the sky, but it's not over. In fact, it's just sunrise, because the victory's been won, but we aren't done until with our own eyes we see Revelation 21, because true justice is bending the world back to how it was created to be, saying we're created for the shalom of Genesis 1 and not Genesis 3. So let's be God's agent of reconciliation that everyone sees, and let us never forget the church's plan A, and there is no plan B.
To ask you, right, before you became successful, what was the hardest part of your life on the struggle and the journey where you are today?
Well, let me see, probably, I don't know if I can nail what the hardest part of that time was, but I think probably still being unaware of what tomorrow's going to bring. And, you know, a lot of times in life, you know, you hope that your hard work and your perseverance will pay off in some way. And I always believe it does, and it might not always be monetarily, but in some form or fashion you're going to learn tomorrow from what you did today. And so at that time, which was 5-6 years ago for me, I was a little unsure of what was actually going to happen, you know. So I just, you know, had to put my faith in God and continue to work hard, and hopefully good things would happen. So
is that what's kept you going, faith in God?
My faith and certainly my family and the support group I have around me, my family and the group of people who I have who make my life a lot easier.
Okay, so I have to ask you this before you get dragged away, right? What do you do spiritually in your life to develop your soul, and what does God actually mean to you?
Oh, wow. What do I do spiritually? I always got to have an hour to myself. That's what I do for myself spiritually, right? And then sometimes I think about donuts, and sometimes I think about what I'm doing tomorrow, or sometimes I don't think at all, which is more often the case.
the mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And what does God mean to you?
I have my own special relationship with God, and I certainly feel very blessed. I count my blessings every day.
He said, if you only knew how many people that have been praying for you, how many prayer groups she put together, how many prayer cloths she gave me, how many times she splashed me with holy water. Save my sorry behind her, she said, oh, you did it by yourself? I tell you what you can do by yourself. You can go outside, get a mop and a bucket and wash them windows. You can do that by yourself. Superstar. So I'm saying that to say I want to congratulate all the parents and friends and family and aunties and uncles and grandmothers and grandfathers, teachers, friends and enemies, all the people that helped you to get where you are today. Congratulations to you all. I'm going to tell about 2-3 stories. I'm going to keep it real short. I remember my graduation, speaker got up there, went on forever, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to keep it short. Number 1, put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that. It's a gift. 40 years ago, March 27th, 1975, it was 40 years ago, just this past March, I was flunking out of college. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I hope none of you can relate. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I was sitting in my mother's beauty shop. They still call it beauty shop now? What do they call it? Yeah, I was sitting in the beauty parlor. I was sitting in my mother's beauty parlor, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I see behind me this woman under the dryer. And every time she looked up, every time I looked up, she was looking at me, just looking me in the eye. I didn't know who she was, and I said, she said, somebody give me a pen, give me a pencil, I have a prophecy. March 27, 1975, she said, boy, you are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Now mind you, I flunked out of college. I'm thinking about joining the army. I didn't know what I was going to do, and she's telling me I'm going to travel the world and speak to millions of people. Well, I have traveled the world, and I have spoke to millions of people. But that's not the most important thing, the success that I had. The most important thing is that what she taught me and what she told me that day has stayed with me since. I've been protected. I've been directed. I've been corrected. I've kept God in my life, and it's kept me humble. I didn't always stick with him, but he always stuck with me. So stick with him in everything you do. If you think you want to do what you think I've done, then do what I've done and stick with God. Number 2, fail. Number 3, you'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I'll say it again. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I don't care how much money you make, you can't take it with you. The Egyptians tried it. They got robbed. That's all they got. You can't take it with you. And it's not how much you have. It's what you do with what you have. We all have different talents. Some of you will be doctors, some lawyers, some scientists, some educators, some nurses, some teachers. Yeah, okay. Some preachers. The most selfish thing you can do in this world is help someone else. Why is it selfish? Because the gratification, the goodness that comes to you, the good feeling that I get from helping others, nothing's better than that. Well, one of two things, but nothing's better than that. Not jewelry, not big house I have, not the cars, but it's the joy. That's where the joy is, in helping others. That's where the success is, in helping others. Finally, I pray that you put your slippers way under the bed tonight, so that when you wake up in the morning, you have to get on your knees to reach them. And while you're down there, say thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for humility. Thank you for peace. Thank you for prosperity. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. That's how I live my life. That's why I am. One of the reasons why I am today. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours. True desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you, sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. I'll say it again. True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.